Hey everybody, I'm Mah-Dry-Bread, and this is Civilization 4 Colonization. I'm going to be doing walkthrough/playthroughs of this game as all four teams, which is France, England, the Dutch, and Spain, as well as playing the authentic colonization mod after this to play as Portugal. I've seen not much content of this game online, and a lot of people seem to have a lot of troubles beating this game because of the Revolutionary War at the end being quite difficult for new players. And because I have a lot of experience on this game, I thought that maybe I would do informative playthroughs of this game as each team to show you the differences and show you how to win the Revolutionary War. So we're going to start with Spain today because I find at least, Spain to be the easiest to win the Revolutionary War, which tends to be the hardest part. So without further ado, let's get this started. First, a really quick overview of the four colonies for people who are less familiar with this game. Each colony has two different leaders, and both leaders share one trait and have one unique trait. The Dutch all are mercantile. Their markets are less sensitive, so if you were to mass export one item, let's say rum, you're less likely to crash the market and get less money out of it. So in general, it means more money in the long term from trade goods. Whereas Peter here, and I'm going to try to pronounce the last name, gets 25% more production in all settlements. And Adrian van der Donk, which I think I pronounced correctly, he's charismatic, which means double time between tax increase. So essentially a ton of extra money over the course of the game. The English require less crosses for immigration, which tends to mean they have a big population. George Washington is disciplined. His soldiers require half the equipment for to arm, essentially. Less guns and less horses if you want to make dragoons. So he tends to have a really big swarmy militia army. And John Adams, the second president of the United States, is libertarian, which means extra Liberty Bells in all settlements. So he can very easily generate Liberty Bells, which means easy to get an early rebellion, and it's also very easy to get founding fathers, which is very nice. Both English leaders are pretty nice. With the French, we have Samuel de Champlain. Both French leaders are cooperative, which means natives are more tolerant towards their encroachment, so they're less aggressive towards you, easier to ally with. And it takes half the time spent living amongst the natives to learn new skills. This is very, very useful for putting up a strong economy. He's also enterprising. He gets double the native conversion rate from missions, which is nice early on, kind of inconsequential near the end of the game, but is good for setting up colonies. And we have Louis de Frontenac, which is probably the worst leader in the game. He's militaristic, which means his mounted units and gunpowder units, which is basically everything. I don't think it counts for his siege units, like cannons, but most things. Get a Grenadier 1 promotion for attacking settlements. Probably the worst in the game. At high difficulties, you can find some use with it, because you'll have some big wars with the colonies, but for the most part, if you set things up well enough, you're probably not going to need the Grenadier promotion because you're likely not going to lose any cities and have to retake them, and you're never really having too many issues with enemy colonies, unless you're very high-level play, and a cannon will mop the floor with any native settlement you attack. Not that the French will attack the natives much. Lastly, who we're using today, we're going with the Spanish. Both Spaniards are conquistadors, which means they do 25% extra damage versus the natives. This is generally considered probably the worst team-based ability, because it's only good against the natives, and the way to win is to have your Revolutionary War. Which is unfortunate because, of course, your king is not attacking you with an army of natives, so the bonus doesn't help at all for that. What it's useful for is taking large amounts of land early on from the natives, and it does a good job at that. It's also great because you can kill natives early on to gain promotions for your units. Now, Simon Bolivar, he was the founder of Colombia, if I know history right. He's determined, which means his Liberty Bells, or Rebel Sentiment, has double the effect on Rebel Strength. This is incredibly, incredibly vague, but after much research online, it seems like what it does is once you've declared independence, you count as rebels, which means that your Rebel Sentiment will have double the effect on your troops' strength. So if you max out your Rebel Sentiment, essentially all of your units have double the strength. This is why we're going to be playing as him today, and why he's probably the best suited leader in the game for actually declaring independence and winning the war. Because if you have a very high rebel sentiment, which is, of course, your aim with this character, he is incredibly powerful. Like, you might not lose a unit against the king's Royal Expeditionary Force. His main downside, of course, is that Determined does not help him at all until you declare independence, which is the end of the game. So for the majority of the game, his abilities are only war abilities and almost never help you, so you need to make sure that you manage your economy properly to stay competitive. Lastly, probably my favorite leader to play as for fun, Jos De San Martin. I think that's how it's pronounced. Again, I'm Canadian, I don't know Spanish, sorry, I'm better with the French names. He's resourceful, which is an incredibly fun trait, and it's a shame that he's got such stiff competition. He's the founder of Ecuador? Don't quote me on that. Argentina, maybe? No, I'm gonna say Ecuador. His units require half the experience for promotions. This is awesome, because not only can he crew a big army and still have a lot of promotions, he could also have a small focused army that are overwhelmingly powerful. Speaking of small army and overwhelmingly powerful, that's often what you go with Simon Bolivar, considering the less troops you have out on the field, the easier it is to generate rebel sentiment. But we'll get into that later as we actually start the game and we progress. So without further ado, we're going to start in a new world, which will generate a Americas-like continent. You can also pick Caribbean, which is islands. I prefer to be a land-based one. Normal game speed, and we're going to go on the middle difficulty of Conquistador. Normally you start on Explorer, and I have not actually looked into, I probably should have, but I have not actually looked into whether Explorer is actually standard, no one gets bonuses, or Conquistadors, but regardless, I find Explorer too easy. We're going to go Conquistador. I'm no pro at the game, but I can win somewhat consistently, so we'll see how this goes. So, as the Spanish, because each colony has their own units they start with, we start with a caravel, which is the most basic cargo ship, a pioneer, who is a free colonist, which means he's like a worker of civilization games. He works tiles, makes them better. However, he's slow at it. A hardy pioneer that the French get would be better. But our advantage as the Spanish is, instead of a regular soldier, we have a veteran soldier, which means that he gains experience at double speed, which is awesome. And I believe he starts with a Strength 1 promotion for doing 10%, or having 10% more strength in combat. So he's a very valuable asset early on for early wars. Alright, now we want to make landfall. I like to do a crisscross pattern like that, so you reveal the most area, because for every tile we reveal, let's hit F6, we get some exploration points. And we really, really want to get Pedro here. One of the best guys in the game, and probably the first one you're going to get half travel time between Europe. That'll save you a lot of turns throughout the game. Okay, so crabs down here, which is a sea-based food resource. Although we're in tundra here, which is bad for land resource. So let's actually sail over here. We've met Logan of the Iroquois. Historically, the Iroquois are North American, up here in Canada. Life-giving water, nectar of the gods. Sorry, I'm thirsty today. So we're going to sail on into his village, which, yes, is impossible. And we're going to speak with him. Because we're the first ones to speak to him, he gave us money. You can see down there. Money's awesome. He also let us know that he wants horses, so he'll pay a high price if we trade him horses. And he can train us in how to be expert farmers, which is incredibly, incredibly valuable to me. We're not going to do that right now, though, because we haven't set up a colony. Maybe I'll set up here? I don't like being too close, or too far from Europe, because travel time for cargo ships is important. Give us more money, he wants rum, and he's also willing to trade expert farmers. I might want to settle near this guy. Okay, let's send our pioneer to scout inland a little bit. Okay. I want to set up right here on this hill. Not only is it an easily defensible location, but there are two fish here, which are high food tiles. We could get a lot of farming going here and make our coastal city a hardcore food production city for getting our population up early. I also see a mountain up there, so we can mine silver there It won't be within our border. Unlike in Civilization 4, where your fat cross, or your area you can work with a city, is like this janky-looking cross thing. Instead, it's just every tile touching the center tile. So we're going to set up a city here. It's our first city, so they'll allow us to make our first city for free. So we're founding Isabella. And the first thing I want to get here is actually a dock to make the best use of all this fish. I want expert fishermen and farmers in here because they are the highest food tile yield people. And the first thing we always want to do is put our person in our town hall generating Liberty Bells. As you generate Liberty Bells, F6, you also get political points. You need political points no matter what founding father you are getting of any of these. And remember, founding fathers are a competition. The first one to reach a founding father can choose to get them. If you say no, you'll never get that founding father. And you're competing with the other colonies to get these founding fathers, so you really want to race towards those good ones. So it's really, really important that you start building up those political points early to grab the really good early ones. Alright, now this is something that I don't always do as everyone, but I always do as Spain. Instead of going straight back home, I keep sailing along the coast with my warrior and my boat. And we just met Adrian van der Donk of the Dutch colonies. You'll see there he's got a much bigger cargo ship than we do. We also met the Inca. That is because the Dutch unique thing they start with is a really good cargo ship. Got some more money there. What we're trying to do is find his borders. So there's New Amsterdam. For those of you living in the United States, you might know New Amsterdam. In fact, you might live in New Amsterdam. New Amsterdam was taken over by the English historically and renamed New York. No, I don't want to open borders with you right now. Hi, Aztec. They are the hardest people to ally with in the game, and the best ones to kill. They have a trait Prosperous, which makes it so that, what are they? They're prosperous and gracious. Gracious means they give you a lot of money when you first meet them, and prosperous means that when you kill them, the treasure you get for killing them is worth a lot. Right, so the soldier is going to make landfall here. And our boat is going to start sailing towards Europe. We've got some money from the natives, so we want to go spend that in Europe now and start transporting people back to the New World. So what we're doing here is we first met Adrian van der Donk. We can't declare war within 10 turns. So we are going to scout out the land around him, get a bearing of what's going on, get some exploration points while we're at it. We've gained some land there by generating our Liberty Bells. Here we go, our caravel's back. Oh, we got lucky. Expert fisherman, that's exactly what I wanted to help the food in the colony as it starts up. We were incredibly, incredibly lucky with that one. We don't really particularly need any three of those at the moment. Once our immigration religion gets full, another one will show up here for free in our docks. We do have some money though, and this strategy requires a little bit of luck. We're gonna talk to our king. The King of Spain, he's a very evil man, but we want military protection. Please offer me a cannon. Yes! Cannons are dirt cheap. It's weird that cannons are so much cheaper than veteran soldiers, but cannons are much, much cheaper than veteran soldiers. If you can get a cannon this early on, you can mop the floor with any colony you meet early. And that's what we want to do. So, pro tip, when you're fighting when you're trying to get in a defensible location from other colonies, be in a forest or on a hill, because then you get a defense bonus like in your regular Civilization game. However, if you are looking for defense from natives, stand out in the open. Because if you're out in the open, the natives don't get their bonuses when fighting in hills and forests. And those bonuses are big. Okay, so what we're going to do here... Gonna go this way a little bit, just so we explore some more of the way to Europe. Yes! We got the Founding Father that cuts the travel time from Europe in half. Normally it takes 2 turns for a ship to get to Europe, and then 2 turns for it to get back. You cut it down to 1 turn, which means 2 less turns wasted on the there and back trip, which is amazing. I'm gonna drop off our cannon here, which will be vital, and then we're going to have our caravel go back to Isabella. We're going to have him just fortify there. We still can't declare war, as we can see on the left there. Now, let's take a look at this again. So we have this. As far as exploration goes, it has the most junk founding fathers in the game. One, Ponce de Leon, double times the likelihood to get treasure from ancient ruins. Lame. Don't waste points on that. Reveal all tiles with burial grounds in ancient ruins. Waste of points. You spend these points when you pick up these people. 25% more defense in all settlements. Awesome, because it's extra maximum defense. Caravel, merchantmen, and galleon movement. That's all cargo ships. Awesome. Free caravel. Lame. Purchasing land. Maybe good. Kind of depends. Movement for scouts. Lame. I don't know why that's such a high level one. Faster production of colleges and universities. Lame. Extra movement for wagon trains. Awesome. But the one we're looking for this early is, I believe it's under trade. Peter. He gives you a discount on recruiting units in Europe. Only way to get that discount. And he is, everyone fights for this guy early. So you need trade points, which you get for selling goods to Europe, or to natives, I believe, and political points. So what we're going to do, unfortunately, our base tile is getting us ore, which is very frustrating. Because ore used to make tools, which you can then either build things with, arm pioneers, or make it into guns. Very, very useful, but early on, it would be nice to have some kind of trade good that we can make into a manufactured good. The people around us want rum and cigars for trading with the natives. Trading with the natives is a lot more lucrative, but they have a limited supply of money that regenerates very slowly. We still need political points, so it's not bad to get our Liberty Bells, but the money's more important to us right now because we can use that to develop, as well as get our trade points. So it might actually be worth having them plant sugar and harvest sugarcane for a few turns, and then make it into rum for a few turns. We're just going to have him wait there. Okay, he's done that for 2 turns. Now, make some rum. Okay, we've arrived, so drop off the fisherman, pick up the 3 bottles of rum. Gotta do something, And we have more people to bring in, so I'm actually not going to wait. I'm going to go straight for Europe. And you're going to go straight to fishing, so he gets a bonus on fishing, so he's getting 10 food a turn on that. Each person in a city eats 2 food a turn, so we're making a surplus of 8. Every time a city hits 200 food is when you gain a new free colonist of population. You really want to have high food production later in the game so that you can have a very, a free, massive amount of people that you can then arm if you're making your own guns for free. Very, very valuable. Trying to reveal more tiles for the points. Now, we don't have any 3 tobacco tiles, or I would do that because tobacco makes you cigars, and cigars are the most stable trade good in the game. It's very hard to crash the market on cigars because they're addictive. Rum to a lesser degree, although it looks like rum is selling for more right now anyway. Cloth is selling for surprisingly the most, or surprisingly tied with rum for the most. Cloth is generally worth the least. And by far the most, though, is silver, which you just mine raw. You don't get much of it, mind you, and it's more lucrative in the long run to do the trade goods that you can produce en masse, but it is still very valuable. Price of guns and tools have risen. Okay. So we sold that. We made a total profit of 33 gold, which is not much, but we do get a master tobacconist and a petty criminal. We don't particularly need either of those. So what I'm going to do, actually, is get a lumberjack by buying him out to get him early. And I wish I could also buy out a carpenter. Having a lumberjack and a carpenter early on massively increases your production. We don't have that, though, so I think what I'm going to take is just a petty criminal. We're We're going to double-click him and turn him into a missionary. Next time we go back, we might turn someone into a pioneer to start working our tiles. But I want to convert someone nearby. So the king will sometimes ask for gold payments. He'll ask you for a certain percentage of what you already own. You can either say no, we already pay taxes, that should be enough, and anger him. He'll be less likely to support you, and if you're later in the game, he might even declare war on you. Or you can pay the gold. I'm not going to, because we really need our gold right now, and there's no possible way he's willing to declare war on us this early. We also don't particularly need to support now. Okay, so we can declare war now. So we're going to. I'm going to hold down Alt, click on him. First, we grabbed his pioneer, so we get a free pioneer. That's awesome. And we get 75% defense for going right here, because that's a forested hill, so he's really well protected. And they've got a free colonist as a soldier there, who's not nearly as good as either of our guys. He didn't try to attack back. All right, we have a 98.9% chance of annihilating him with our cannon. Killed him. And our victory chance is okay, but I'd like better. So we're actually going to move into the jungle, just to make sure he doesn't get desperate and attack us anyway. He looks like he's trying to found inland. We're going to start marching our new pioneer back to our place to start improving our tiles. Getting those free pioneers is really nice. What the hell is he doing? He's just like giving me people. Alright, well we're going to take a canister shot for extra damage against gunpowder units. I like to take that over settlement defense because you're never going to have troubles with a cannon attacking a settlement that is a native one. And canister shot helps with gunpowder units, which is basically everything you'll fight against a colony. Or against the expeditionary force. So in the long term, I'd rather have it. So we took the city. We could keep it because it is actually a really high food yield place. Life-giving nectar. Life-giving nectar? Water of the gods? That doesn't make any sense. Often, I just burn the city, but with this one, I think we're actually going to keep it. It's on the same coast, so it wouldn't be too hard to manage. And it's actually not a bad city spot. It would be another ridiculous food spot. At the same time, I really, really like having only one coastal city, because then it makes it incredibly easy to have a single food production place automated. So I think I'm actually going to burn it, which will make them really hate me. They hate when you burn their places. So we're going to go there and just wipe him out. And hopefully he'll stick around. He's running off. Met that guy who's the easiest guy in the game to get a defensive pact with. I'm going to go ahead and take... here's a recommendation I have. Don't take Ranger and Mountaineer early on, because later in the game, if you play your cards right, you will get a Founding Father that gives you those for free. And Ranger and Mountaineer are some of the most valuable promotions in the entire game. You really want those, because that is what's going to give you the power advantage against the Royal Expeditionary Force near the end of the game. Instead, this early on, what I would take, I might take Looter, maybe. It never hurts to have Charge, but having an early medic is important. So and withdraw chance too. I think I'm going to take Surgeon. Of course, just like in Civ 4, getting a promotion does heal you a bit. And I'm going to try and track this guy down because he's just going to go make another city. So I want to nip that in the bud. So one thing that I'd like to have earlier that I haven't gotten yet. Alright, I've been neglecting this. One thing that I'd like to have earlier that I haven't gotten yet is... let's just put both of you on that for now. We don't need production at the moment. I would really like to have a scout, a veteran scout, specifically. And the reason I'd really like a veteran scout is because veteran scouts can pick up things like burial grounds and ancient ruins without angering the natives. I also really need to scout inland and meet everyone. Well, there's Adrian Vanderdonk's veteran scout stealing all the stuff that I want. So we might declare peace soon. I don't know. Okay. He's not armed, so he's very easy to kill. Just gotta keep tracking him down. Met the Cherokee. Cuzco. That's, I think it's their capital in this game. I believe it is. It's the highest population place, at least. So we could learn amongst them to become a farmer. I'd rather convert them this early on. You always succeed your first conversion. So now every once in a while, they'll give us a converted native. Those are bad at working manufactured tiles, but good at working raw tiles. Very useful for setting up colonies and increasing your population early in the game. Not so useful near the end of it when you'd rather have specialists. You can teach them to be specialists with a school. It's just not the most convenient thing in the world. So we have a dock now. We get even more food from those tiles. Might as well put you on sugar planting so we can now just make 3 rum a turn without switching back and forth, which is nice and valuable to us, making a lot of rum for trade points and for money. I'd much rather have a master distiller doing this and not a cotton planter, a sugar planter doing it, but we don't have anywhere to become a sugar planter at the moment. So the next thing I want to build, I like to designate every town to something. This will be designated to guns later, most likely. Guns and food. So it's not going to be producing much itself, so I don't really need to go into any of the production buildings. It's going to have a really high population, though, so I'm going to get a church, because it can afford to have preachers in it to increase our immigration. Immigration is, of course, very important. It's most important if you are... Don't attack, just go there. Oh, I see. English borders. It's most important if you are the English. Ooh. Because the English require less crosses. So they get the most out of it. Only a 10% victory chance? Okay, I'm not going to fight you then. I don't think a cannon can speak with the natives, but we can go attack England, which I'd very much like to do. I want to make sure that neither of them build up strength. And we're the first ones to meet them. They gave us treasure. So we're sending that back home. You need a galleon to send treasure home unless you want to send it on one of the king's fleet. But the king's fleet will actually pocket half the money. So I don't consider it worth doing. Okay, our trade points are going up slowly. We can get a master tobacconist, which is not very valuable to us. We can also get a master silver miner, which we'd want to put our next city right here. This is going to be rum, cigars... and silver. I used Alt-S to do that, by the way. This one is guns and food. We're going to have to buy that land from the Inca, but I believe we're going to kill the Inca later. They are prosperous, which means that we get extra money from killing them, so we will be killing the Inca. Okay. Only 2 turns until more free immigration. So I think I'm actually going to wait those turns. And, yeah, let's keep marching. I was gonna test, but it's almost guaranteed. John Adams. Okay, so I hate being in a match with John Adams. Did he really just found this right beside me? What an idiot. Well, Adrian Vanderdonk is basically out of the game as his score is now 0, so there is actually a very realistic chance that he has nothing and is out of money and could just have lost. He does have a unit. I did see a scout running around there. He's probably grabbing treasure, so I'm not going to count him out yet. If he's grabbing treasure, then he's going to have money to buy more units to ship over, and we haven't destroyed his caravel. So we could declare war on John Adams right away, actually. But I want to heal first. However, I very much doubt John Adams can deal with our military. Especially because we have a few promotions now, too. Okay, so we got our guy. We got an expert silver miner, which I do want. I just don't want him right away. Master distiller we could buy out. We could purchase things full price, but we don't really have the money for that. We're just going to take them just to supplement our population for now. Open borders with John Adams? No, because that would give us a temporary truce. And I don't want a temporary truce. Plymouth. Okay. Things are actually going very well early. Map for map? No, they only ever ask map for map if your map is way better than theirs. We're going to spend 20 gold here and 13 turns on making a farm in that marsh. And have our surgeon on the same tile as our cannon to help heal it. They've built a wagon train this early, so they're probably planning to trade with the natives. Because, Even though the natives are all on the coast around here, so you could just do it with a boat. I think they're just stupid. Okay, I'm gonna chalk this up to them being stupid. Hey, John Adams. War were declared. I don't think they're gonna be able to put up a fight, honestly. Pick up the rum and the ore. We're going back to Europe to sell it. So we're not ready to start another city yet. The silver miner I'm just going to have do whatever needs doing for the moment, so he's going to be drumming up liberty. And the master tobacconist. I could have him on food. I think I'm going to start on production, though. So he's going to start cutting down wood. Okay, separate. They had no military in that city. Oh, they had a wagon train because they had another city up there and they didn't want a boat doing it the whole time. Okay. Well, burn it. Oh, that's right. No wonder. I should have been tipped off right away that they had a second city, because Plymouth is their second city. Their first one is Jamestown, I believe. Right? So we're going to meet some new natives up there, too. And the English just put someone up there. I'm not going to risk it. You know what? No, I am. Yeah! It was worth it. Killed a colonist. Got some experience. There's Jamestown up there. And surgeon level 2. Oh, we got a lot of experience for that, actually. So we're level 2 surgeon. To get to level 3, we need a great general, which you get through gaining enough combined experience across your army. I'm going to go ahead and just take a veteran promotion. And we're going to go into the native village. Really? They're sending... The Dutch are sending treasure through my lands. I really should capture that, but I have no military over here. That's a shame. Okay. Our money is actually doing decently well now, but we're getting unlucky with the immigration at the moment. Were we really the first to talk to you? Because they just gave us money. Unless they're generous. Are they generous? They're gracious, right? I think that might be the same thing. Yeah, it's gracious. Okay, Cannon, what can you do? You can mop the floor. Burn it. Okay, they've both been knocked off the scoreboards, which means they don't have cities. So I'm actually going to just declare peace. What do you give me? Your map in gold. I want that. That was a nice map. And you've got nothing to say to me, so he won't even talk to me right now. We also captured a wagon train, so we got a free wagon train. That's actually quite valuable. I also upgraded this, so let's go ahead and get a canister shot level 2 for even more bonus against gunpowder units. And we're going to actually... Oh, they made a new city where the old one was. We're going to start marching it down there for destroying that. And we're going to start marching our wagon train back home. You'll give me a little bit of gold in your map. Okay. His map was garbage. Okay. Really still want a veteran scout. Usually you get luckier with that. Forgot to send you back. We could buy one. Where's veteran scout? That's right. They can only show up in immigration. I don't think you can force buy them. That's a shame. Okay. I want a carpenter. I'm willing to pay full price on that. What I should have done, now that I think about it, actually, I shouldn't have bought that. I should have bought guns and horses and sold them to the natives for quick cash and points. Okay, and we're sending you back now that you've met them. We actually have a lot built up there. I should have been more vigilant on that. In fact, it'd be better if I did that. But we're now converting the planks we just cut into production to build that church much faster. No, I don't want one. 50% more natives conversion rate from missions, I don't think I need. In the long run, I won't need that. And I never take free stockades in every settlement because I could just build them and get military points for it, and they're cheap to build. So I'd rather not waste military points on that, especially because the military founding fathers are vital to victory. So I'm actually going to manually select you and just unload you now so I can get this carpenter return early. And do that. So we're still gaining every turn, actually, so I'm going to put him temporarily to help on production. We're now building way faster. Let's get the ore and the rum to sell. Now, we could actually sell rum to the natives here, but unless you're selling in large amounts, it's kind of a waste of money. If you can sell 200 at a time, that's the best you can do for inland ones. For coastal ones, I think you can do more. As long as you've got a big enough ship. Okay. So we've got that done, so we're actually getting extra sugar from that, which is nice, so we have a little bit of surplus sugar. We still need to go talk to them, and I could have my pioneer do that. You know what? Nothing's a higher priority right now, so I'm going to go do that. So our church is done, which means we can now place people in a church to increase immigration, which I'm actually going to do for now. Oops, I actually want to send my... Yeah, send my lumberjack to go do that for now. Only for one turn, though. He's going to have to go back after. A warehouse wouldn't hurt, but because we're not importing much stuff from other cities at the moment, I don't really need that too much. And I would like a printing press early would probably be wise, because I can use that to get a lot of Founding Fathers. Now, I actually really don't like this landmass. It's not, like, there's no depth to it. It's like this snaky continent. I hate that because I like inland cities and just to have one port. It's less micromanagey for making a food city that way. You'll see what I mean later. Can't declare war at the moment. Okay. If you're willing to do all the micromanagement, it is actually beneficial to have a lot of coastal cities. However, for the sake of keeping these playthroughs fast, I'll show you how to do that, and then I'll do my own thing. Also, I want to pay a small sum of money to make sure that the next thing I get is that Elder Statesman, because my god, Elder Statesmen are important. They're the guys who specialize in getting Liberty Bells and thus political points for Founding Fathers. Very, very important. Yeah. Wait, I'm actually going to leave you behind, and, actually, yeah, no. I need to get that guy over as fast as possible, and I'd rather, if I'm going to buy guns or something, trade with these guys, I'm going to buy 2 of it. Free looter promotion for gunpowder units. No, actually. And they'll make expert cotton planters. Well, that tells me right now that I want a cotton city right here. It can be cotton. It can be a cloth/cigars right there. And that's actually an especially good silver tile. It gives you 2. River-based ones seem to always give you 2, which means that with an expert silver miner and a mine on that, you get 6 silver per turn, which is insane. But I don't want it on the coast. I don't want too much shared borders. I could do a cotton city up here and then that there. It'd be food and tobacco and silver. But then where would I put the cotton one? There's nowhere I could put it without it being coastal. This is going to have to do for now. We'll have a silver city up here. It just won't be as good. Okay, we'll plan more in the future. Really don't like that travel time. It's not good. You're going to give me 1% tax, or I can not trade ore with you anymore. I'll take the tax. Oh, shit. I forgot to be on top of that. That was my bad. Gotta make sure that we always have our production going. Okay, so we have a wagon train now for trading with inland natives and for inland cities of our own. And we're going to go ahead and put a statesman in our city there. And we're actually going to move our expert silver miner to fishing for now. He's not the best fisherman, but we really want the surplus food. Especially considering in 2 turns we would get a free production. Or population, rather. Which would give us a free colonist. And population's very important to us right now. We also have a master blacksmith, which will be Very useful. I'm just going to put him in the church for now, but he'll be useful once we're making guns and tools. Right now, though, we're not really doing much of that. Defense in all settlements, yes, always take that before anyone else does. Free defense in all settlements. That they have to bombard down with cannons, which natives don't have. Other colonies, you can wipe out if you got dragoons. We can declare war on Adrian again. I just want to make sure these guys are healed first. Okay, we got our free population. And once we make a little bit more money, I actually want to buy that tile. So until then, you're going to run up there and go talk to them, see if we can get some money out of them. Our pioneer is here. Right, we just sent him straight back. I want a cabin down here for collecting more wood. We also have a surplus of wood, so I'm going to help with building again. And you are now healed enough to fight, so we're going to. So we're going to go for the coastal city first, of course. Looks like they were smart. They got stockades, which I think they took the Founding Father for that. Let's take a look. Free stockade in every city? No, no one has that. Okay. I actually haven't been very on top of looking at Founding Fathers. I think I'm the only one who's got any Founding Fathers. I've messed these guys up so badly. Wow. So, they've got no one defending that. Really? There you go. And there's New Holland. They had no one defending it, so I didn't even need to bombard it down to win. I'm building a lodge. We already have the tools we need here for the printing press. So that increases the amount of Liberty Bells we generate in this city. So we now generate a total of 9 a turn. It shows 6 here, but it also shows on this little drop down 50% more from buildings, a little bit extra from Rebel Sentiment, which is actually generated by Liberty Bells. The way it works is Rebel Sentiment is not directly Liberty Bells. You could have 100% people support independence in every city and still be below 50% on the actual revolutionary menu. Let's go ahead and get a lumber mill started now for production. You could still be below 50%. That's because your revolution, your actual Rebel Sentiment, which is your revolution bar here, is based on total Liberty Bells produced in comparison to the population of all of your cities and how many units you have, even not in cities, on the field. So, for instance, you could have a match where you had 3 cities that all had 100% internal Rebel Sentiment because they're producing so much for themselves, but you have such a gargantuan army standing on the field that this bar is still low. Which would mean you have to delete units. Not necessarily army, I mean, if you have like a bunch of caravans you don't need, or converted natives on the field, you could get rid of them too. Any unit counts. I think treasure even counts, weirdly enough. And remember, you don't need as big of an army as the expeditionary force. Well, we took another wagon train. Hey, Adrian, you want a piece? No? Okay. How about now? Nope. Okay. I'm really mopping the floor with the AI. It's one of the specialties of Spain. Starting with that veteran warrior and then buying a cannon early on is strong. Anyone can buy the cannon early on, mind you, but the veteran soldier is Spanish. Anyone can get a veteran soldier, but Spain starts with one for free, which is good because they're expensive. We can get cotton planters there, which is valuable to us. And we're just going to send you back home. They're just going to go back to the colony until we see another target to kill. Oh, hey, I see another target to kill. Do you guys see that? Huh. Funny how things work out. Oh, God, I left you here for a turn or two, didn't I? Well, next turn, we're going to have immigration. But I really should be selling to the natives. Let's go ahead and... rum, tobacco... horses! I don't mind if you... No, I'm probably going to be killing you eventually, aren't I? Because you're worth a lot of money. You know what? No, you're far away. I'm probably not going to end up killing you, so I'll give you horses. So 700, so we can only afford one of those. Okay, we'll take a soldier with you. Of course, you're all the way down there. We could give horses to you. And we are converting you, actually, so I don't mind at all about having you as my ally. So, no problem with this, then. And this also means our soldier will be very close to here. I don't want 2 free converted natives. Free units are almost never worth it. We're going to trade with horses. What will you give me? You'll give... I paid 700, and you'll give me back, what is that? A net gain of 400 on it. That's awesome. Now, his units will start actually mounting themselves with horses often, and that'll make them stronger. So if they ally with us, that's nice. They also want guns now, so we can actually sell them guns, and they'll arm themselves with guns. Wiped out another one of their cities. Oh, wow. We are not treating them well. Can we buy this land now? Yes, they don't even charge much. You can found it without buying the land. It's just, it'll anger them a lot. We're going to build a stockade right away, because I think that they're going to consider me as threatening towards their way of life soon. So apparently that was not Adrian's only city. He probably desperately built one elsewhere that we haven't discovered yet. And John Adams has a city now too, because they have scores again, which means they have to have at least one city. You, my fine feathered friend who does not have feathers, are going to produce rum, because you're getting a lot of sugar on the tile that you're on. This is one of those debatable ones. You get more tobacco in every settlement, and cigars are very, very valuable. Damn it. The guy we were gunning for was taken by England a long time ago, and I just didn't notice. That's a big loss. Okay, we need to change up our priorities then. Okay, other ones we're gunning for. The very last guy in the trade one, it's not going to be hard to get him, but he's really, really good. It's extra food. On Blood's Land, they give you more that already give you food. And plus, 50% more sugar for making rum. The food alone is incredible. The sugar is an awesome bonus on top of that. All around, the whole trade line is probably the most consistently amazing tree. Alexander Hamilton, one of the best in the game, 3 free production in every town hall, and every city starts with the town hall. So a base production of 3 instead of 1 is great. All around, most of the trade is awesome. Military, a lot of this is awesome, some of it's lame. The chieftain here gives you extra strength for converted natives, it's debatably okay, but you're going to want soldiers by the time you'd make any use of them, and converted natives can't attack, they can only defend. Indentured servants, useless. Extra movement for dragoons, nice, but not a game changer. Formation promotion is nice. I believe that one is, yeah, extra damage against mounted units. Very, very nice. Ranger 1 and Mountaineer 1 for gunpowder units. Vital to success. Gun production from tax rate, it's nice, but if you have a really high ore-producing city, you'll never run out of guns anyway. Free frigate, absolutely worthless. And the very last one, Dom Pedro I. Incredible. Free Veteran and Minutemen promotion in your mounted gunpowder units. Veteran being 10% more strength. Minuteman being 25% more strength when defending your cities, which is, of course, what you're going to be doing in the Revolutionary War. And 50% faster Great General emergence. So you need way less experience to get Great Generals and thus highly promote your units. And politics also has some nice, nice ones. Like James Madison. 3 guns per armory, magazine, or arsenal. You can't have all 3 at once, of course, but it's very, very nice, because that means in a city that you're not even producing guns in, build an armory that you never use and you'll get guns for free. Awesome. Thomas Paine, one of the best in the game, increased production by tax rate. So as your tax goes up, so does your production by a ridiculous amount. Betty Ross, you get 3 free, cloth in every city. It says Weaver's House, Shop, or Texture Mill, but you start with Weaver's House, so every city naturally produces cloth to sell. Amazing. There are a lot of great ones to gun for, and I don't think there's anything we're rushing too hardcore right now. Religion probably has the most worthless ones, but it can be useful, especially if you're France. I don't think there's anything we're particularly gunning for at the moment. that we really need to compete for. Nothing right now is competitive, so we're going to start liberally taking a lot of these. And you might as well... you have to walk home because you can't get on the ship, but might as well just boat you back home since we're going that way anyway. We do have our second coastal city here, which I'm not thrilled about having multiple coastal cities, but gotta do what you gotta do. I think that's actually a good ending point for this session, because my throat is giving out on me. I hope you enjoyed this first session of me playing as Spain. Again, I will be playing as France, England, and the Netherlands in the future, as well as doing the authentic colonization mod later to play as Portugal. And the authentic colonization mod also has tons and tons of updates, completely overhauls the game, so that'll be very interesting and very new. So, if you like this video, give it a like. If you're new to me and you liked how I presented everything, check out my channel, see if you might want to subscribe, and until next time, have a nice day.